Yeah, he's in the line, but I can't get him on to share the screen with me. This is gonna piss me off like no other. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
Yo.
Won't he do it?
Hey, first off, before we say anything, I apologize to you, the listeners. Hey, let me keep it 100. This is my first time doing a live, right?
Okay.
So I'm doing it on my iPad.
Right.
So I heard you saying I need to upgrade, so I shut the whole app down, went back into the app, and all that stuff, man. So I guess this is what I guess I'm up to date now. Hey, I don't know.
Welcome to this sick ass world in 21, player. First of all,
my apologies, y'all. My apologies. Salute to everybody, and thanks for everybody's patience. I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate everybody too, but if they can't get over it, you're a little too sensitive at 21. But first of all, let me go ahead and welcome you to Taking It Back Tuesdays here on hype-radio.com. I'm your man Shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and motherfucking girls, worldwide, internationally, all the way to Venus, Mars, and back, I have one of the greatest to ever do it, DJ Mixmaster Ice, from the coldest group ever, UTFO. Like, bruh, like, are you, man, first of all, y'all was ahead of your time. Way ahead of your time.
Thank you.
And some of the things you were doing on a turntable, it's actual DJs who call themselves real DJs today can't even copy what you used to do.
I appreciate that. Man. It's been a long journey. I'm just one extension to the tree.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and keep it real, because that's a big ass tree.
Yes,
but see, it couldn't even get that big if the roots weren't strong enough. And you, my friend, my one of the mentors, one of the reasons why I even love this game called hip hop, you create one of the strongest roots that has ever been in this game ever, because the stuff y'all used to talk about and the flow and how y'all used to come around it, it was a first. It was landing on Plymouth Rock. Y'all was ahead of the game. So
hey, I appreciate that, man. We it's definitely a blessing to be into the culture. We were students, man. We were students of the game. We were engulfed into the culture, and it's just a true blessing that we were able to add on and just be a part of the whole culture itself and contribute. Like, it's so many that came before us, so many that came after us, man. It's a true blessing to have been a part of that hip hop culture, no doubt about it.
Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into this, because I got some questions that I need answered.
Yes, indeed.
First of all, let's go ahead and, y'all was already famous before you did it, because leader of the pack, all that shit, bro. Like, first of all, we gonna go back in time, and you was ahead of time, because the whole 1200s, where the hell did you find the silver platters to put on there to scratch? That can't even be done today.
Those were actually those is what they call the discs, vinyl discs, and they just look real great in your videos. They just look real great for props and stuff like that. So, that was another game changer. You know what I'm saying? To add on.
Yeah, it was. Because it kind of like gave, like, you already had the clothes. What, Brooklyn? I think it was Brooklyn?
I'm from East Flatbush, Brooklyn. That's where we're from.
Let it be known. So, first of all, just to be in New York, you had to be one of the flyest cats on the planet anyways, just to even be able to walk outside. That was mandatory.
Part of the culture.
So y'all was ahead of the game, so you let it be known you got to be flashy in these videos. Whose idea, I'm assuming it was yours, to come up with the little disc? Was that you?
What idea was that? That had to be maybe between, that might have been, You know, that was either the video director or that may have even actually been Kango's idea. Kango's real instrumental in visualizing stuff like that and you know, being able to visualize a conception that people will, that, you know, just taking things to the next level.
Okay.
I can't remember so far back, but it had to be between probably either Kango or maybe the video director itself. Between one of those two is who idea was to do that.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. It may have been the video people, but I mean, I thought it was a great idea. I was all for it. You know what I'm saying?
Fabulous idea, because it reminded me today, because I started looking through all the videos. I'm like, ooh, I got to find them. Man, I've been on Amazon. I thought Amazon had everything. If you look at Amazon, the way they doing, Jesus is running Amazon, and Jesus didn't have the silver disc.
Yes, indeed.
But okay, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I got two things I'm going to holler at you about. The first thing is, DJ Mixmaster Ice, how influential was Kung Fu to you, to where you wore a gi and sometimes a ninja gi to DJ, bruh?
Hey, so my title became leader of the pack. All right, so
I remember the song, Super Scratchy.
You know, when you DJs had names, and one thing about UTFO, we all had different images. All of us had different images and different personas and stuff.
Right.
So mine was Mixmaster Ice the Ninja. You know,
okay.
A master of my craft. Just like Kung Fu, the highest level is ninja. When you become a ninja, you're deadly. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm the leader of the pack. You know, I'm the master of the mix. So the ninja suit just kind of went with my image. You know what I'm saying? Kango's image, he was Soldier Love. So he dressed up in soldier attire and different things he was doing. Doc was the debonair Dr. Ice. So he dressed up in the doctor's gear. The educated rapper, he
Rest in peace.
Dressed up in the suits, and he was the brainiac. You know what I'm saying? So he was the suit looking guy. So all of us had different images. You know what I'm saying? And back then, hip hop, you know, when you go back to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and Soul Sonic Force and Cold Crush Brothers, just to name a few, they also brought images to the game. You know what I'm saying? And we're just part of that same train. You know, leaving the station, and we followed suit, and we had different images as well when we hit the scene. But as far as the Kung Fu story, you know, back in Brooklyn, we grew up on that Kung Fu stuff. You know, in the movie theaters, you know, we used to have a movie theater up the street from us called the Rugby Theater in East Flatbush, up on Utica Avenue. And on the weekends, sometimes you can catch a triple hitter, like a triple hitter, Kung Fu flick, and we just be in there, you know, sipping on something, blazing blunts, and watching these Kung Fu flicks. That's also part of the culture, that New York culture, that hip hop culture. So, you know, I was very fortunate for that. The whole inception of that idea, I have to give Kango credit for that. Because in the first beginning of it, they wanted me to wear the ninja mask. I wasn't too cool with the mask. I wanted to be seen like the rest of them was being seen.
Plus, you be sweating your ass off in that mask.
Yes, indeed. But it was one of the smartest, craftiest things at that particular time, because it created this mystery about what I looked like. Who's this guy behind the turntables in this ninja suit? So it just kind of went with the image, and you know, it was dope. It was definitely dope. Okay.
Now during this time, because there wasn't too many cats who was able to do what you was doing, like at all. Right. Was there ever like a DJ competitive thing between you and maybe somebody else of a great statue in this game, or?
Not really, not necessarily. You know, we were a battle group from Brooklyn, so. You know, we come up in the battle ranks, you know, and that's, you know, just who we were. You know, we were a battle group before we even got record deals and stuff. So, you know, you would go from block party to block parties and different days, and you were battle groups or perform and stuff like that. But you know, I studied the people before me. I studied them all, man, and practice. I mean, all I wanted to do was just DJs, and you know, in the beginning stages, it was kind of like a hobby. So you just practice all the time. You don't really realize down the line that you're going to make it big in this game.
Right.
You know, it was still kind of fresh and new.
Right.
It was still coming on the street level. It was very few before us that really had record deals. You know what I'm saying? But right around that time in the 80s, it started picking up a little bit. People started getting record deals and different things like that. But as far as DJing, you know, and that sort of thing, my actual name, my original name was just DJ Ice. That was just my DJ name, DJ Ice. And there was a dude around the neighborhood that was using the name I don't know if it was Mixmaster John or Mixmaster Wood. It was one or the other. And when I heard that, I was like, that's a ill name. Mixmaster. I said, Mixmaster Ice. I gotta have that. So we come from the battle ranks. So you just can't bite a name. You have to battle for the name. So I challenged somebody for the name. He accepted. And Kango actually knew the guy. He was actually friends with the guys. Okay. So we set the battle up. I'm challenging him, so of course I got to go on his turf, his set, and battle him.
Right.
So we do that. I go on first, give him a little something, and it was all she wrote. He didn't even want to go on, man. Ooh. I just gave him a little tester on his own set, and he was like, nah. So that's how the mixed master part came. This probably maybe around 82ish, maybe 82, somewhere around up in that area.
Fresh
I battled somebody for the mixed master part, and I just added that to to the DJ Ice, mixed master DJ Ice. You know what I'm saying? Sure. When we signed record deals, it was just too long, so I just dropped the DJ because obviously I'm a DJ, and I just made it mixed master Ice.
Right.
But my original DJ name was just DJ Ice. I battled somebody for the mixed master to put that in front of my name.
Well, I'm glad you won the battle because DJ Ice is nice, but mixed master, that's shitty, boy. You can't beat that.
Yeah. Thank you, fam.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it because I know you talked about it 1,000,001 times. I got to be 1,000,002. Whose idea was it to start one of the first rap battles in the game? And not only one of the first rap battles, but one of the first rap battles involving 2 females.
Okay, so let's go all the way to the beginning. UTFO is making a record called Hanging Out. Okay. We just have a single deal. We don't even have an album deal yet. First single UTFO made is called Beats and Rhymes. The second single was called Hanging Out. The record company gave us another single deal. So Hanging Out was the record UTFO in full force are working on. The record company decided they wanted us to also give a bonus record, which was going to be a B-side. And make a long story short, that B-side record was Roxanne. Really, to be honest, more or less kind of like a throw-together record. And B-Fine from Full Force suggested that we make a record about a girl. You know, and I think he's the one that even threw the name in the air, because the record could have been called anything. It could have been called any female name. Just happened to be called Roxanne, right? I think maybe he might have had a friend named Roxanne. So we named the song is called Roxanne. The song itself is about the 3 MCs, Kango, Doc, and EMD, R.I.P. EMD.
R.I.P.
Battling each other. They battling each other for a girl from the neighborhood that they can't get. Now, the girl doesn't exist. This is imaginary. It's just a rap. They're battling each other on wax for, trying to get this girl.
Genius.
Okay, so the record comes out, record's blowing up, all the elements is there. You got the scratching, you got the beat, the rap, just a real dope record. Record's taking off. Shantae and the whole Marley Marl camp and all of that, I think she was entering a talent show, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And in that talent show, Marley must have asked her, hey, can you do something to this record? She said, yeah. So she wrote a rap to our rap to win the talent show. And if I'm not mistaken, she won this talent show. I think light bulbs went off in some of their heads. And it's like, hey, we might have something here. Went on, pressed it up. And then now you have somebody that's trying to put a face to our record. We didn't know her from a can of paint. Girl was like 14, 15.
Right.
She's even too young to date us. We didn't even know.
Right.
We didn't even know. We didn't even know, right? So you have Roxanne. Now you got this Roxanne Shantae with Roxanne's Revenge and all this and that. I really don't like to call it a battle because we didn't know each other. So there was no beef.
Okay.
It was more of a response record or an answer record. That's the way I like to look at it. But so that record takes off, and at first we was kind of pissed about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck is going on here? So, make a long story short, we decided if we're gonna put a face to our record, we're gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna put a face. If Roxanne's gonna have a face, then we're gonna be the ones to put a face to it. We're not gonna let somebody else put a face to our record. So that's when we come up with the concept of the real Roxanne.
Okay.
That's how that came into play.
Okay.
Which is something that was kind of in the background makings anyway. They just actually beat us to the punch of something we was already sizzling on doing anyway. Ironically.
Okay.
So that's how the real Roxanne came into play. We put our own face to the name Roxanne.
Now.
So now, as a result of that, it caused controversy between those two.
Yeah, it did.
Shantae, and the girl we're now calling the real Roxanne. And then from there, Sparky D gets involved, and then it goes bunkers after that. It's 20, 30, 40 answer records, which has never ever been done in the history of music ever. Has a record had that many responses to one record?
We used to try and hunt them responses down like it was the key to Heaven's Gate, bruh. Like, we would call hey man, did you get it? Did you find it? And it wasn't like today where you just type it up. You had to really go out and find it. Y'all didn't make it easy.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't make it easy. So,
No doubt.
the real Roxanne. Shout out to the real Roxanne. Shout out to Roxanne Shantae. But if I had to choose, two bottles on the shelf. You have bottle A with Roxanne Shantae in it, and bottle B with the real Roxanne in it. I'm choosing B. Who was the real Roxanne and who found her? Because that was ahead of its time too. Light skin, curly head. That was.
Now we actually had two. The first girl was a girl named Elise. She's the actual voice on the record.
Okay.
And something happened. I can't remember the exact story, but things didn't quite work out, and she was replaced by another real Roxanne, and her name was Joanne. So Joanne is the one that you're most familiar with. She's the one that got the album deal and all that sort of thing. The actual record itself, that voice is from a female. Her name was Elise. She was the original real Roxanne.
Okay.
Then Joanne was the next one. But I think Full Force did some kind. I don't know if it was a contest they may have done or I think they did some kind of recruiting to come up with her. And of course we was like, yeah, let's make it happen. We wrote the rap for her to do for the real Roxanne. Of course it was to our instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just still under the same Full Force production and just part of the One Big Family thing. Okay. And then of course her career starts to take off now.
Yeah.
The real Roxanne, because the whole phenomenon is just taking off. You got Roxanne, now you got Roxanne Shantae, then you got the real Roxanne, and it's just it just takes off from there.
Yeah, y'all was
true blessing in disguise.
Y'all was hotter than a California wildfire on that one. Bravo to that.
True blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
True blessing in disguise.
Okay, so I have a question that has been brought up to us. The way you were scratching was a lot faster and a lot more precise. You had to come up with that idea. That wasn't just something that just happened. So you hearing all the greats that you listened to that inspired you to be a great DJ as you are, what made you say, let me scratch a little bit faster?
One thing Grandmaster Cass from the Cold Crush Brothers said, he said something that's phenomenal. Hip hop didn't invent anything, we reinvented everything. I am just like I said earlier,
That's
an
deep.
extension. Yes, I am an extension to a great, great, mighty culture of DJs. And, you know, we all study each other. Every time something dope comes out, every time there's a game changer, everybody has to learn that new style, craft, cut, whatever it is.
Right.
This has been from the beginning of the culture,
Right,
even
right.
till today.
Right.
Somebody add something, that's the new thing. You got to know how to do that to be dope. So, for myself, I wasn't old enough to, at the time, because I started DJing at like 14, 15. I wasn't old enough to get into them clubs in the Bronx. I wasn't old enough to get into those clubs in Harlem that showcased a lot of the pioneers and pioneering groups of hip-hop that was performing. So in Brooklyn, we would get these tapes. These tapes would find their way back to the hood of all these great shows that they would have and great performances at different places. So I was blessed to be able to hear these things, and we would study the cadence, we would study the beats, we would study the cuts, study the timing, we were just students of the game. And I was fortunate enough, because I couldn't see what people were doing, it was a blessing in disguise. I would try to mimic things that I would hear, but because I can't see how they're doing it, sometimes I end up coming up with something slightly different.
Yep.
And then somebody in the room might be, yo, that's dope. I don't think it's dope because I'm trying to do what I heard.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's dope. Keep doing that. And you start finding yourself creating in your own craft because you can't visually see what somebody's doing. You just hear it. And you're trying to do what you heard. Sometimes you come up with things along the way. But I'm going to be honest, I was just one of those that practiced all the time. So when I would hear something Grandmaster Flash would do, I would practice it. You know, one of my big inspirations was DJ WizKid, R.I.P. DJ WizKid. He was very instrumental in putting records down on wax that we would hear and have to try to figure out how he did that. Okay. Of course, DST. You know, in '83 when he did what he did for Herbie Hancock, game changer.
Yes.
Game changer. So, you know, it's things like that would take me home and be practicing. So I'm practicing all those cuts that DST is doing. But as I'm doing it, because I'm doing it slightly different, mine's starting to come out a little sharper. A lot of them cuts are very similar to DST. It's just that it's hitting sharper, just sharper. And like you said with the speed is something that we practice. Myself and Educated Rapper, he was my first hip hop partner. We come from the DJ culture. Me and him were both DJs. We had a DJ group called the Jamalot Crew. So it was about 4 or 5 of us. This is before UTFO. I'm going back to 1980 now, 1980, 1981. So me and Educated Rapper, we have a DJ group that we started and formed called the Jamalot Crew. So it's about 4 of us. And one thing that me and Educated Rapper were very good at was pushing each other. All we wanted to do was be fast. So whatever we heard, we would always try to add to it. Sometimes you have to add speed. Sometimes you got to add finesse. Sometimes you got to add a trick. You know, you might do something. Hey, how would that look if you did that and just spun around and catch it and do it again? Just little simple things like that we will come up with and just add to our craft. And it's those little things like that makes the difference when you're moving up your ranks as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? I used to practice fast cutting. You know what I'm saying? That was just something we used to do. You know, I would take the record, put it on 45. Ooh. That would make your hands. Yeah, if you're normally mixing on 33 and backspinning, put it on 45. Then when you go back to 33, your hands are flying.
Right.
Same thing with the scratching. Put that record on 45 on one turntable and try to keep up with that 45 speed. When you go back to the 33 speed, your hands are super fast. So them cuts are going to be sharp, precise. You know, that's just a couple little practice tricks that we used to do back then. Just how we used to push the envelope and make ourselves a little bit better. We used to have real serious practices, and some of them practices would require speed techniques and tricks.
Well, you're giving real game because there's a lot of DJs on this interview right now, so you giving a lot of jewels. So DJs, make sure y'all pay attention.
Salute to my DJs out there. Salute to all my DJs.
Now, seeing how we are the great Mix Master Ice, and we done been in several groups, and we didn't help bring in the Roxanne, we won't say battle, we'll say response.
Yeah, it was a response record.
Response records. Are we going to ever get a Mix Master Ice record?
You know, it's funny you say that. There's actually some records that I did solo on UTFO projects. There's a few. There's a record I did called My Cuss Correct. You know, if any of my DJs out there remember that
they
one,
better.
That's all My Cuss Correct. That's all me. You know, let me add this also. Before I started DJing, my first inception into hip hop was as a rapper. When hip hop started blowing up, when we heard King Tim the Third, then we heard Here's the Light, and then you got super rapping. Actually, did we get a freak? You froze. Am I froze?
No, we back.
We back?
We back.
Okay, I see the thing pausing. Okay, so I started off in hip hop as a rapper. The DJ came up. The DJ maybe came like the next year after. So then I was rapping and DJing. But I always had a undercover pen game that a lot of people may not have realized. And because I had 3 MCs, there was not a lot of room for the DJ to get his voice on anything. So I spoke with my hands mostly. Right. But I was fortunate enough to be able to get some UTFO, some solo records. I had a record called I Am the Master. That's on a UTFO record. All me. My Cuss Correct. It's another record. All me. I'm trying to think of whatever else. But those two, off the top of my head, were on UTFO projects. That's just solo records. But you're actually onto something because I am in the studio cooking up something. You know, I always stay kind of busy, so there is something I'm actually cooking up. So you kind of onto something there. You know what I mean?
I'm glad.
Yeah, you're onto something. I'm cooking up something. I got something I need to say out here. You know, I need to put my voice in the game.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into that. So with today's artists and today's, I guess you could say it's not really like a real big DJ presence right now in the hip hop game. So we'll just go ahead and we'll lean back on some of these artists. What is your feel on the hip hop game today?
It's totally different, man. You know, just to touch base on what you were saying about the DJs, you know, there was a time when the DJ was the man. Even more so than the MC. The DJ was the man.
Facts.
And when the record deals started coming, a lot of the DJs started getting X'd out. Because the record deals would go to the artists or the rappers because of publishing and different things of that nature. So if you had outside producers, a lot of times the DJ might be at the end of the podium because the MCs is going to get the contracts, the MC is going to get the publishing. You know, and then you got the producers doing the music. So sometimes a lot of DJs got squeezed out, unfortunately.
Okay.
You know, I come from the history where, you know, I was truly blessed. You know, when you thought of UTFO DJ, you thought of Mix Master Ice. When you thought of Run DMC DJ, you thought of the late great Jam Master Jay. When you thought of Houdini's DJ, you thought of Grandmaster D. When you thought of LL's DJ, you thought of Cut Creator. Now I'm gonna go a little further back. When you thought of the Cold Crush Brothers, you thought of Charlie Chase and Tony Tone.
Yes, Lord.
When you thought of Soul Sonic Force, you thought of Africa Bambaataa, Jazzy J, Red Alert. When you thought of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, of course you thought of Grandmaster Flash, and and the Fantastic Romantic Five. You thought of Grand Wizard Theodore. These are just the point I'm making is DJs were very prevalent and a mighty force within their groups. When you think of nowadays culture, if I was to ask the average person who was Drake's DJ, I don't know if everybody would know that.
Not at all.
If I asked the culture who is Lil Wayne's DJ, I don't know if everybody would know that. If I was to ask who is the Baby's DJ, I don't know if everybody would know that. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, everybody that's hot. If I was to ask who was their DJ, I don't think a lot of people would know that, like how it was known back in my time.
Right.
So it's definitely a shift in the culture when it comes to that. It's totally different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The DJs were way more respected and way more involved with the culture and the product itself. We were part of the visuals. We were part of the team.
Right.
We was part of the show. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a little bit different. Not saying that they don't have DJs, but when you thought of the group, there's no way you didn't think of who the DJ was for that group back in the day. So it's different now. It's totally different.
Two things. I got DJ Don Julio saying, MC Shan used to say, DJs didn't need MCs. MCs needed DJs.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
And second,
because just to add to that, there's the party don't start or end until the DJ shut it down.
Yep.
There's nothing without the music.
Exactly.
There's no hip hop without the music.
Now,
what you gonna dance to? You need music.
Facts.
You need that rhythm.
Facts.
You need that rhythm. You need that beat of the drum. You know what
Facts.
I'm saying?
Okay, so let me go ahead and help you chase this bag real quick because I got a cat on here by the name of Michael DeBarge who says he's asking if you open to doing let me go ahead and make sure I get it right because I'm gonna want my part on this. Stop playing. Let's see. Michael DeBarge wants to produce on your album. Are you open to it?
Absolutely. I know Mike. What's up, Mike?
Mike, I passed the message.
Hey, Mike, just hit me up on the line, man. Let's politic about it. I know you got some heat over there.
Hey, Mike, I passed the message. I'm going to need a little envelope, the name on it. Got a couple, little something at the end of it.
Little something.
Little something. I ain't asking for much. But
no doubt.
So here we are now. We're on this era where, once again, hip-hop is making a change.
Yes.
To go from back in the day to now, hip-hop is ruling the world. Everybody wants to be a hip-hop artist. It's great athletes who want to be hip-hop artists. With you now working and getting ready to talk to Mr. DeBarge there, I'm going to keep going. I got to get mine. Stop playing.
Yes, indeed.
What is it that Mixmaster Ice will now bring to today's game?
This being true to who I am, artists that's true to who they are stand out, and if you're passionate about it, at the end of the day, that's what's going to win you over. People are going to feel your passion. People are going to be able to tap in to what you're bringing to the table. Now, if you're fake, people can read right through that today. You know what I'm saying? They can read right through it today. I'm gonna be who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 50s. I'm not ashamed to say my age. I'll be 56 in April.
You blessed to be there.
Thank you, fam. Absolutely. Thank you. So, I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. I'm not in my teens. I have evolved to a different man now. So the things I'm going to talk about are going to be totally different than what I may have talked about in my teens.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm passionate about a few different things. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be probably tapping in on that. I'm a realist. So I like dealing with reality, things that impact the culture. You know what I'm saying? Health is wealth. There's a lot of things that's going on in our communities. And, as an older statesman, I need to be doing something or being involved with something that's saying something. You know what I'm saying? I can't be with coming out with something that's going to be promoting any type of nonsense, or something that's not productive.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're younger, you got time to mess around and have fun. This ain't about fun. This is about some serious stuff. I got some things to say. You know what I'm saying? Because we live in serious times. You know what I mean? So, and the kids are watching.
They're watching and they're paying attention.
That we're role models. Yeah, some people don't believe we're role models. Anytime the light is on you and people are tapping in on you, you are a role model. Now the choice is: do you want to be a good role model or a bad role model? The choice is yours. But you are a role model. You just have to decide which role model you want to be.
Right. Okay, so I didn't really want to ask, but I'm seeing it on the live, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it.
Yeah.
During the time of 4 great artists in a group, that time came to an end. Why?
You start coming into sometimes creative differences. We was going through record changes. Some of us, we all started expanding and taking on other projects, other situations. We just started growing, Dr. Ice went solo, in the midst of us doing our 4th album, which there was actually even discussions of him possibly going solo while we was doing our 3rd album, which was our big album, Leap.
Wow.
When You Cold Wanna Be With Me.
Right.
But on the 4th album, that was actually our last album with Select Records, the Doing It album. So that was our last album of the 4 of us together. Doc went solo after that and did a solo project on Jive Records. We also went to Jive as well. So that was one aspect of it. And on top of that, just we started to, we all had other projects that was going on. You know what I'm saying? I was DJing a whole lot. Kang was producing, doing different things like that. Educated Rapper at that time was actually trying to get into acting a little bit. And he had a couple of groups he wanted to try to manage and do. Everybody was kind of doing their own little thing. But, sometimes, when you're a group like how we are, sometimes it's a brotherhood. Sometimes you clash. Sometimes you start taking on other projects. Your agenda might shift a little bit, and it's hard to contain the brand if everybody's doing other things. If we're not all in it 100%, sometimes it's hard to keep that brand together in groups. That's why sometimes a lot of groups break up. Because you start to grow and take on other roles, and sometimes you become managers, sometimes you become producers. Sometimes you get featured on other projects, and then that record take off, and then they want to, different things happen. You know what I mean? Then there's families. Doc and Kane, they both became fathers early.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother aspect. Now you got kids to take care of. You got a wife, and
right.
So sometimes the roles change and how you move in a unit.
Well, it sounds like growth kind of broke you guys up, but in the game, that's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to grow. So we done went through the thick to thin. We come from the mud all the way up.
Yes,
we talk about getting back in the studio, but what I want to talk about, before we sign off here is hip hop has been really, really great to you. You have been really, really great for hip hop. I seen the new website that's under construction.
Yes.
Because hip hop has opened the door for you. When this door is finally open and you got the website finished, what is hip hop? What did hip hop open the door to for you now? Like, what is the statement you're trying to make now from being Mixed Master Ice to being able to have a microphone to where people will listen and acknowledge what you're doing? What kind of knowledge are you giving? What did hip hop do for you for right now?
Two things. For the older culture, and I'm talking I'm talking probably 45 and over. That crowd that grew up in hip hop.
Okay.
Those people I have a direct relationship with already. So I'm looking to hit different cities. To add to that, this particular year, 2021, but 2020 was my 40th DJ anniversary.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I didn't get to do the touring and the festivals and everything that was already planned to go with that. So, the summer of 2021, this summer would actually be my 41st DJ anniversary. So I've been around a long time. So I'm looking to tap in and have some fun with the older generation, come through and do some 40th anniversary sets and party and kick it with that set. Now with the youth, what I'm looking for is that originality. I'm looking for someone that's willing to take chances, be a risk taker, and to each his own. I just want to find that polished person or polished group that want to kind of take it back to the essence, but in the new flavor. And what I mean by that is bring back true lyricism, true skills, that sort of thing. Great performances. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that there aren't artists that's out there that can do that. Some of them, they get overlooked.
Right.
They get overlooked. You know what I'm saying? And we know what's dominating on the airways right now. We know what's out there. But I'm looking for somebody to help clean it up a little bit. Put a little balance in the game.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A little balance in the game so that way people can have, it's not, to me, in my opinion, it's not enough balance. We had a lot more balance back then.
Right.
Especially as far as conscious rap. You had Poor Righteous Teachers. You had X-Clan.
Yep.
Boogie Down Productions.
Great.
You know what I'm saying? I can go on and on and on. Public Enemy, just to name a few. So we had those going on also while the West Coast was doing what they was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, the South was just starting to simmer a little bit. But we had that conscious rap. We had that balance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Outkast was touching on that a little bit. So we had different balances. We don't have a lot of balance nowadays. So I would like to add a little bit more balance to the game if I can. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sir, I salute you and show you nothing but respect. I can't say enough to say thank you for taking time out to sit and talk with me, to sit and talk on my show, for giving me the blessing that you have. I plan on staying in contact with you, even though,
Yes,
you may be a little too busy. I get it.
Hey, we fam now.
See, that's what I like to hear.
We fam now, bro.
So when you slide out here to the West Coast, man, home is right here for you, bro.
So you in the Bay? Are you in the Bay?
Now, this is what we go. I'm gonna educate New York on this. Now, everywhere else, we Northern California.
Northern, right?
But here, we Sacramento, and we have the Bay Area.
Gotcha. So I was right?
Yeah.
So
it's the Bay Area. Oakland, Frisco, that's the Bay Area. Sacramento.
Where you based out of?
I'm Sacramento. We the capital of Cali.
Okay,
We trying to climb out of our own mud up here.
Absolutely. Listen, I would love to tap in out there.
Slide through.
We'll talk further about that. I'm definitely due for a West Coast visit, and especially a northern West Coast visit. So we'll tap in and talk about that. I would love to come out there and do a set.
I'm the guy to talk to.
Gotcha.
Come on through. We got this. But please, anybody out there in the world who wants to get a hold of this man, please, sir, give your socials, your contacts so they can get a hold of you.
All right now, hit me up please follow me on Instagram. That's at MixmasterIce. Like he said earlier, I got a website that's coming. It's under construction. So I give it maybe another month or so before that's up and running because there's different things I want to incorporate with that. But Instagram for sure. I'm not on Facebook currently. Facebook deleted my account. They wanted me to change my name. They didn't like me using MixmasterIce. They wanted me to change my name.
Hate that.
I wouldn't change my name, so they deleted my account. So
Mr. Zuckerberg is a sucker for that shit.
I'll eventually put a new one up, but Instagram I'm on, Twitter as well, but Instagram for sure. Definitely hit me up on the DMs and follow me. I appreciate that. Shout out to your platform, man.
Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Hype Radio is real.
Thank you.
I apologize once again for the delay and the technical errors.
Bro, you ain't got to apologize. Family don't never apologize. We good.
Thank you, fam. But I appreciate your platform. I appreciate your time and having me on here, man, just to talk to you and your peoples, man, and just lending a voice to your brand. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Salute to all the pioneers before me.
Yes, indeed.
I always have to do that because there's no mixed master rights without our pioneers.
Right.
Shout out to my group, UTFO, Kango, Doc, the late great educated rapper. Big up Full Force. Big up our whole East Flatbush posse. I currently reside in Columbus, Ohio. So big up to the Midwest. Big up Columbus. And just blessings from the Most High. Shouts out to my family and everybody that rock with me. Like I said, this is my 40th DJ anniversary, and it's just a blessing to still be around and to do what I love. You know what I mean? Like I always say, when you do what you love, it don't seem like work. You're still having fun.
It sure is.
So thank you, man, for having me, man. I appreciate you.
I'm going to hit you on the DM. I got to get your email. I got to get some drops from a legend, bruh.
I got you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for coming here on Taking It Back Tuesdays here on Hype Dash Radio. Thank you. Please keep tuning in. Everybody who's on the feed, come on. Follow me at Hype Radio is Real. We got more of this coming up. And we might bring this gentleman back through again. So for right now, I'm going to holler at y'all. Y'all be safe out there.
Peace and blessings, y'all.